Listen closely, kid. This isn't just another story, it's your wake-up call. You've been living in a fog, trapped in a world that tells you you're not enough, that your pain defines you, that the weight on your shoulders will never lift. But let me tell you something, you are not your struggle. You are not the scars, the wounds, or the weight of every disappointment you've ever carried. This is the moment you stop playing small. The time has come to stop tiptoeing through life, afraid of what could happen next. You've been walking through this world as if it's your cage, as if the world itself is a sentence handed down by some unseen judge. But it's time to break free. The storm you've been running from? It's the storm that will remake you. And this is your moment to rise, to reclaim the power that's been buried under layers of doubt and pain. The question isn't whether you'll survive, the question is, will you let this storm make you or break you? You've been walking around like a shadow of yourself, shattered and hollow. The weight of the world presses down on you, and every step feels heavier than the last. You feel it in your bones, that quiet ache that no one else sees, but that you carry with you every single day. The world isn't as bright as it once was. It's a blur of empty moments and lost dreams, a never-ending loop of survival rather than living. The fire inside you, the one that used to burn bright, feels like it's been smothered by years of doubt, disappointment, and pain. Maybe it started with lost someone you loved, someone who mattered. Maybe it was a dream that slipped through your fingers, just out of reach, leaving you grasping at nothing but the memory of what could have been. Or perhaps it was the weight of constant rejection, the feeling of being invisible, unworthy, or unimportant. How many times did you try, only to have the doors close in your face? The echoes of not enough and you'll never make it are still ringing in your ears, and now they're your own voice. It's not just the people around you either. It's the relentless pull of self-doubt, the little whispers in your mind that tell you you're not strong enough, not smart enough, not capable enough to change the course of your life. They said you were too weak, too broken, too flawed. They told you that you were nothing, and for a while you believed them. You internalized it, let it sink into your soul, until it became a part of you. You wore those words like armor, but instead of protecting you, they suffocated you. You've carried that pain in silence, feeling it in the quiet moments when no one is looking. It's the way you wake up in the morning, your mind heavy with the weight of everything you're not. It's the way you look in the mirror and see someone unrecognizable, someone whose dreams feel distant, like they belong to someone else. The villain in your story is not just one person. It's the world that told you your worth is measured by failure, by disappointment, by the standards they set for you. It's the toxic voices that come from every direction, from people who don't understand, who don't care to understand. It's the suffocating pressure to be something you're not, to live up to an image of perfection that was never yours to begin with. And you believed it. For too long, you believed that you were nothing, that the pain was your fault, that the mistakes you made were chains that would never break. But what if I told you that they were wrong? That the villain isn't your past or your mistakes or the people who tried to make you feel small. No, the villain is the lie you've been telling yourself. The lie that says you're not enough. The lie that says your pain is permanent, that your past will always define you. It's time to face that villain, and it's time to fight back. You've been shackled by this narrative for far too long, and now you're going to rewrite it. You're going to stop letting them define who you are. It's time to stop letting their words hold weight over your life. You've been living in their shadow for far too long, and it's time for you to step into the light. You were never meant to be broken. You were meant to rise. Let's be real for a moment. You've been stuck in this cycle for far too long. You're in the darkness, shrouded by your own fears, your own doubts, and the weight of your own unhealed wounds. You've looked for a way out, haven't you? You've searched for something, someone to pull you from this pit you've fallen into. But let me tell you something hard and true: if you wait for someone to save you, you'll stay broken forever. No one is coming to fix you. The cavalry isn't riding in. The world isn't going to stop and wait for you to catch up. Do you know why? Because you have everything you need to save yourself already inside you. But as long as you're stuck, as long as you refuse to face the pain, you will remain here in this suffocating, stagnant darkness. The longer you stay stuck, the more you begin to believe this is your permanent state, that this pain is all you'll ever know. And that is the lie you've been feeding yourself. But let's take a hard look at the consequences. Look around you. The days bleed into one another, each one identical to the last, trapped in the same painful patterns. Your dreams are becoming distant echoes, faint memories of who you were, who you could have been. And every time you try to reach for something better, you feel the weight of those old beliefs pulling you back down, keeping you anchored in the same stagnant place. You think you're too tired to fight. You think you've given it all you have, but let me tell you, you're just exhausted from trying to fight with the wrong weapons. You've been fighting your own reflection. You've been fighting the ghosts of your past. And what has it gotten you? more scars, more frustration, more emptiness. And now you're so deep in this place, you don't know which way is up. I know how heavy this is. I know how tired you are. So tired of pretending. So tired of smiling and saying you're fine when you're crumbling inside. You've put on a mask that you can barely stand to look at yourself in anymore. The hope you once had, the belief that one day it would get better, has been chipped away by the weight of each failure, each rejection, and each silent night when you realized you were all alone with your pain. And yet, here you are, still breathing, still standing. You might feel broken right now, but hear me when I say this is not your end. I see you. I know the despair you're carrying, the feeling of walking through life as if it's a dark tunnel with no light at the end. You've convinced yourself that this pain is forever, that this struggle is your only reality. But here's the truth: you are not broken. You are in the process of becoming. You've been knocked down, yes, you've been beaten, battered and bruised, but you are still standing. It's not over. It's never over as long as you keep moving forward. You might not see it yet, but right now, in the deepest, darkest part of your life, you are closer to your breakthrough than you think. So don't let this be your grave. Don't let this pain define you. Don't let this be where your story ends. This is your turning point. This is where you dig deep, where you rise up from the ashes you've been drowning in. You have the strength. You've always had the strength. And right now, this pain, this darkness, it's temporary. It's the storm before the clarity. You can't see the light right now, but trust me, it's there. And it's coming. Now listen up, because this is where things are about to change. The moment you've been waiting for is here. It's time to shift. It's time to reclaim the power you've been giving away for far too long. You are not a victim of the world. You are the creator of your destiny, and that means you get to rewrite your story. All that pain, all that struggle, it's time to turn it into fuel, into fire, into the very strength that will carry you forward. Here's the thing about people like them: those who tried to break you, those who told you that you weren't enough. They fear the moment you realize your strength. They fear the moment you stop accepting their narrative and start writing your own. They thought they could shatter you, make you small, make you doubt yourself, but what they failed to realize is that your strength doesn't come from perfection. It comes from survival. They tried to tear you down, but they didn't break you. They only forged you. You've been through hell and back, and you're still standing. And that, my friend, is not a weakness. It's your power. Every scar you carry, every wound, every bruise, they are not marks of your defeat. They are the armor you wear to face tomorrow. You thought those scars were proof of your brokenness, but in reality, they are proof of your resilience. They are the battle marks of someone who has fought and won over and over again. Those scars, they hold the stories of everything you've overcome. They are not signs of weakness, they are the badges of a warrior, worn with pride. Every time you've been knocked down, every time they told you to quit, you rose again. That's the story you need to remember. You weren't defeated, you were prepared. You've been through battles you didn't ask for. You've been to the edge of despair, where the world told you to just give up, to just quit fighting. But you didn't. You kept going. And every time you rose, you became stronger. You became wiser. You became more than what they said you were. You became untouchable. Your pain is not a curse, it's fuel. Every moment of suffering, every tear shed, every single heartbeat that kept you going, it wasn't for nothing. All of it has been preparing you. You've been in the crucible, and you've been forged into something stronger than you can even understand yet. All that struggle, all that heartache, it wasn't to break you, it was to prepare you for this moment, the moment you choose to rise. Every time they knocked you down, it wasn't defeat, it was preparation. You've been training for this, even when you didn't know it. Every time you got up from the ground, when you fought through the doubt, when you kept going despite the odds stacked against you, it was shaping you. And now, the storm that once seemed so overwhelming, it's just a reminder of your power to weather it all. You've been through the worst and you're still here. That's who you are. Not a survivor, but a warrior. Now, I know you're scared. I know you're unsure. But that's the point, isn't it? Fear is the final piece of the puzzle. It's the last little voice that tries to tell you you can't, but here's the truth: fear is a lie. Fear tells you to stop, but your strength tells you to keep going. Fear tells you that you'll fail, but your heart will tells you that failure is just a lesson. Fear tells you to play small, but you were born to play big. Look at everything you've been through. Look at how far you've come. You thought it was the world that broke you, but it wasn't. It was the experience that built you. Every time you were knocked down, you were forced to dig deeper, to look inside yourself and find the strength you never knew you had. And that strength, that's what's going to get you to the next level. The past doesn't have a hold on you anymore. It can't. It's just the fuel you've been carrying with you all along. So don't you dare keep playing small. Don't you dare let them convince you that you're anything less than unstoppable. The world is waiting for you to rise, waiting for you to step into the storm, because the storm isn't something you fear anymore. You are the storm. Your struggle didn't break you, it made you unbreakable. The question is not whether you will face challenges again. The question is whether you will keep standing when the next wave hits. And I know the answer. Because you've already shown me who you are. You're not someone who runs from the storm. You are the storm. This is your time. This is your moment. It's time to rise, and when you rise, you don't just get up. You stand tall, unshaken, and unafraid. And when you face the world, it will finally understand the strength that was always within you. You are no longer a victim of your past. You are the master of your future. Now, take that power. Own it. This is your world, and the storm you've been waiting for. It's already inside you. This is it. This is the moment you've been waiting for. Everything you've been through, the pain, the tears, the doubt has led you here. And now you have to face one simple question: who are you? For far too long, you've been living like a spectator in your own life, watching from the sidelines, believing the lies that others told you. You thought you were weak, you thought you were broken, and you thought you were broken, and you thought you were unworthy of more. But that's not you. That never was you. You are the hero of your own story, and it's time you start acting like it. They thought they could bury you in the dirt, but they forgot that seeds grow. They thought they could crush your spirit, break your will, and trap you in darkness. But they didn't see what was inside you. They didn't see that the very thing they tried to destroy is the thing that would make you rise. You are not a victim. You are the force that will shake the earth. I know what you're thinking. Can I really do this? Am I strong enough? Will I ever be enough? Let me stop you right there. You are more than enough. You've been more than enough all along. You are the storm. You are the fire that burns through the dark. You are the rage that cannot be tamed. And when they pushed you down, you found the strength to stand back up, stronger than before. Are you going to stay down, or are you going to rise? This is your moment. This is where you decide who you're going to be from here on out. You don't need permission from anyone. You don't need their validation. You are the validation. You are the storm they never saw coming. The world wants you to think you're just a collection of your failures. They want you to believe that your past will always define you. They want you to stay in that hole they dug for you, to settle for mediocrity and pain. But you know what? You are not the sum of your failures. You are the strength built from them. Every single setback, every single moment you've been told you weren't good enough, wasn't enough, that you'd never make it. That's your fuel. That's your power. Because you didn't give up. You didn't stay down. And now you're rising. You are rising. Every time you've stumbled, you've learned. Every time they knocked you down, you stood up again with more strength, more grit, more fire than ever before. And here's the thing: they didn't know every scar, every bruise, every wound you suffered. They only make you more powerful. The cracks in you are not signs of weakness. They are the places where your strength comes through. You're not broken. You're remade. You're a force that can't be stopped. You are the storm. And now it's time to rise, to face everything they threw at you and turn it into your victory. Are you ready? No more excuses. No more holding back. You are unstoppable. You are unbreakable. And they didn't see it coming. They thought they had you trapped, that you'd just fade away. But instead, you've become the very thing they feared. They thought they could hold you down, but you've been growing in the darkness. And now the light is yours to claim. So take a moment. Look at everything you've overcome, everything they tried to destroy in you, and know this: you are not who they said you were. You are who you choose to be. And right now, you're choosing to rise. You're choosing to be the force that reshapes your life. This is your moment. The storm is yours to command. Now rise. Now that you've felt the shift, now that you understand the power that's been inside you all along, I'm going to ask you to do something. I'm going to ask you to act. You've sat in the darkness long enough. You've let the pain define you. You've let the fear trap you. And you've allowed the wounds of the past to dictate your future. But not anymore. Not today. Today you pick up the pieces. Not just pick them up, but build something unbreakable from them. You've been broken before, but that was just preparation. Now, you're going to take everything they tried to destroy and transform it into your greatest strength. Every single scar you carry is a reminder that you survived. You are still here, aren't you? You've faced the storm, you've been through hell, and you're still breathing. So ask yourself, what does that tell you? It tells you that you are stronger than you've ever given yourself credit for. Every wound you carry is proof that you are unbreakable. And here's the key: those scars are not weaknesses. They are your badges of honor, the armor you've earned. And now it's time to wear them proudly. Now, here's where it gets real. Your pain is no longer your enemy. It is your fuel. The battles you've fought, the tears you've shed, The moments where you felt like giving up, those moments are what will push you forward. They are what will propel you toward the life you were meant to live. You've been holding on to them, but now it's time to let them drive you. Your past is not a burden. It is the fire that will ignite your future. So I challenge you, step forward. Step forward with your past in your hands and use it as the fuel to ignite your future. Don't leave your pain behind. Don't hide from it. Embrace it. Every single part of your story has led you here, and every chapter has prepared you for this moment. You are the culmination of everything you've survived, everything you've learned, and now it's your time to use all of that to build something unshakable. The path ahead is not easy, but I'm telling you right now, you are ready. You have been through the fire, you felt the heat, and now you are stronger for it. No one can stop you now, because you know who you are. And who you are is not someone who's waiting for life to happen. Who you are is someone who makes things happen. You have the power to rewrite your narrative. You have the strength to push through any obstacle. There's nothing in your way anymore, except the limits you place on yourself. So, what will you do? Will you continue to let the past hold you back? Will you let the voices of doubt and fear control your future? Or will you rise? Will you take the power that's always been inside of you and create the life you were meant to live? I'll tell you what you're going to do. You're going to rise. You're going to stand tall, unshaken by the forces that tried to hold you down. You're going to look at every challenge that comes your way and say, I am ready, because you are. You've always been ready. Now, I want you to look ahead. I want you to imagine the future you deserve, the life you've been holding off on living, the dreams you've been putting on pause. You're not waiting anymore. The storm you thought would destroy you is now the storm that will carry you. Every tear you shed, every mistake you made, every setback you faced, it's all part of your transformation. You're not just surviving, you are thriving. So here it is. You're standing on the edge of your next great leap. You have everything you need to go where you want to go, to build what you want to build, and to become who you've always been meant to be. The only thing left to do is take the first step. And trust me, you're ready. They thought they broke you, but all they did was forge a weapon. A weapon that is sharp, unbreakable, and unstoppable. Now it's your time to rise. The world is waiting for you to show up and show them who you really are. So go. Go be the force that shakes everything. Go be the one who doesn't just survive, but thrives. Because you are no longer the person they tried to break, you are the storm they never saw coming. And now, it's your time to rise. Now, I want you to do something for me. I want you to pause, just for a moment, and look in the mirror. Really look. What do you see? Is it the same broken version they tried to make you believe in, the version of you who was small, who was weak, who thought they weren't worthy? Or do you see something else? Do you see the person who has survived it all? Do you see the storm that has risen from the ashes? The fire that is unstoppable, untamed, and unyielding? That's who you are. That is the version of you that's been waiting to emerge from the rubble. That's the warrior who's been hidden under layers of pain and doubt, waiting for the moment to stand tall, unshaken, and ready to face whatever comes next. Look at yourself now, don't look away. This is not the time for self-pity. This is not the time for excuses. This is the moment you see the truth. You are no longer the victim of your circumstances. You are the creator of your future. You are the storm, and you will not be ignored. You are the wildfire that can't be contained, the lightning that will never strike twice in the same place. You are the force of nature that they could never stop. Every challenge, every failure, every scar is nothing more than fuel for your power. You have been through the fire, and now you are the fire. You have burned through every limitation, every doubt, every belief that told you to stay small, and now nothing can hold you back. Your transformation isn't just a change, it's a rebirth. You are no longer the person who felt helpless, stuck, and defeated. You are the one who chooses to rise. You are the one who will not back down. You are the one who will move forward, relentlessly and fearlessly. Because you know the truth, now you are unstoppable. So go. Go out into the world and show them who you've become. Show them the power that you've always had, the strength that no one saw coming. Show them that no matter what they said, no matter what they tried to do to break you, you have risen. You are the storm that they never expected, the force that will shake the world to its core. The storm is here, and you are it.